Have you ever stopped to think about where the energy for, well, everything you do comes from? Your thoughts, your movements, even just breathing? Deep down inside your cells, there's this incredible little engine that's running 24/7. So today, we're diving into that biological marvel, the Krebs cycle. This is the absolute heart of your body's energy factory.
So here's the game plan. We'll start by finding our location inside the cell, then we'll meet the key molecule that kicks everything off. After that, we'll walk through the entire 8-step assembly line, count up all the energy we've made, and finally, see how your body cleverly manages the whole operation.
All right, first things first. To really understand this, we need to know where this all goes down. And for that, we have to zoom way in, deep inside one of your cells.
And here we are. This is a mitochondrion. You've probably heard it called the powerhouse of the cell, and trust me, it has earned that nickname. This is ground zero for making the energy that keeps you alive. Now, to get even more specific, we're heading right into the very core of the mitochondrion, a space filled with this gel-like stuff called the matrix. If the mitochondrion is our factory, the matrix is the main factory floor. It's where all the action happens. Okay, so you can't run a factory without raw materials, right? For the Krebs cycle, the main fuel comes from one very important molecule. And here it is, acetyl-CoA. This little 2-carbon molecule is the star of our show. It's what you get when your body breaks down carbs, fats, and proteins from your food. Think of it as the key that starts the engine of the Krebs cycle. So we've got our fuel, acetyl-CoA. How in the world does the cell get the energy out of it? Well, it uses this brilliant 8-step process, like a biological assembly line. Now, this diagram shows you the whole cycle at a glance. Yeah, it might look a little intimidating, kind of like a crazy subway map, but I promise you it's really just a series of very elegant chemical steps. So let's break it down. Okay, let's follow the molecule. Step 1, our 2-carbon acetyl-CoA gets dropped off and immediately joins up with a 4-carbon molecule called oxaloacetate. Together, they make a 6-carbon molecule called citrate. That's actually why this is also called the citric acid cycle. Step 2 is pretty simple. Citrate just gets rearranged a bit into its cousin, isocitrate. And now, the real action starts. In step 3, we see our first big payoff. A carbon atom gets chopped off and released as CO2. Yep, the stuff you breathe out, and we capture some high-energy electrons in a carrier molecule called NADH. Bam! Step 4 does the exact same thing again. Another carbon gets released as CO2, and we make a second, NADH. Now, the second half of the cycle is all about squeezing out more energy and then getting ready for the next round. In step 5, we make our first molecule of direct energy, GTP, which is pretty much the same as the famous ATP. It's like instant cash for the cell. Then, in step 6, we load up another type of energy carrier, this one called FADH2. Steps 7 and 8 are all about rebuilding. And in that final step, we make our third NADH and, this is the beautiful part, we regenerate that original 4-carbon oxaloacetate. That's what makes it a true cycle. It's ready and waiting to grab the next acetyl-CoA and do the whole thing all over again. Okay, so after all that spinning and shuffling of molecules, what did we actually get for our efforts? Let's tally up the profits from just one single turn of this cycle. First up, we get 3 molecules of NADH. Now, these are a huge deal. Think of them as tiny, fully charged battery packs. They're loaded with high-energy electrons that are going to be cashed in later for a massive amount of ATP. Next, we get 1 molecule of FADH2. This is another one of those energy-carrying battery packs. It carries a little less juice than NADH, but it's still absolutely critical for getting the maximum amount of energy for the cell. And finally, we get 1 molecule of GTP. Now, if NADH and FADH2 are like investment bonds waiting to mature, GTP is cold, hard cash. The cell can spend this energy immediately to get work done, right then and there. So here's the final balance sheet for one trip around the cycle. We've got 3 NADH and 1 FADH2 saved up for later, 1 GTP ready to be spent right now, and we've gotten rid of 2 molecules of CO2 as waste. That's a pretty fantastic haul from just one little starting molecule. But think about it. A factory running at full blast all the time would be super wasteful. So how does the cell know when to speed things up and when to hit the brakes? It's actually this really elegant system of supply and demand. When your cell is running low on energy, the levels of ADP, which is basically an uncharged battery, start to rise. That's the signal to hit the gas and speed the cycle up. But on the flip side, when the cell is flush with energy, with plenty of ATP and NADH floating around, those molecules themselves act as the brakes, telling the cycle, hey, we're good for now, you can slow down. It's a perfect feedback loop.
So you see, the Krebs cycle isn't just some abstract thing in a textbook. It is happening right now in trillions of your cells. It's the engine that turned your breakfast into the energy you're using to understand this sentence. It really leaves you with a pretty cool question to think about. Knowing about this incredible, nonstop factory inside you, what are you going to power with all that energy?